Has the dust settled yet?
I don't know, but we're gonna need more coffee.
Cheers.
So, February recap. Where do we begin?
Now our only hope is to find the truth about the past, but we don't have a clue how to do that except Elsa's hearing voices, so we got that going for us. Any questions?
Well, where are we?
We are in our house, but not the house that you saw us in last.
We are now in Grace's other mission house. And you may be saying, Mandy and Jeff, why are you in the other mission house? Well, this video will explain all of that. So when we left you off last time, we were in the airport coming home from Florida. On that trip, we made some big decisions and have some big plans. And part of that is why we have moved to this house. So our church is actually going to be working on the house that we were living in to do some updates there. And they needed to get into the house sooner than when we were supposed to move out. And so we have our pod, which you might have seen on our social media. It is now officially packed. And we are now living in the other mission house with just the bare minimum. Clothes, the kids got a few toys.
And food.
And food. That's about all we have. The rest of our stuff is in a pod.
So here is our February recap and a little bit of what's happened in March already. And like always, I try to be a good preacher boy, even though Mandy won the Preacher Boy Scholarship. And we're gonna do the 3 P's of February: our progress, our praises, and our prayer request to share with you. Are you bored yet? It's just us talking. I mean, come on. Get yourself a good quality cup of coffee and stay awake for this entire video. Something like, I don't know what I've got here, Instagram Cracker. It's a custom label for us. Marketing is Missions, which is what we're doing. It's our entire ministry, and it's from Creek Life Coffee Company. And if you want to learn more about that, send us an email, or very shortly, visit our website. It is available for purchase, and all proceeds go directly to our ministry to get us to EBI. To keep this video as busy as our month in February was, our progress, we've got 4 main points. Number 1 is we had 3 meetings in February, all in Western Pennsylvania.
Which was a miracle in and of itself, because we battled winter weather the entire time. But all 3 meetings happened. We've also had 2 meetings in March. 1 has happened, 1 is coming up, so stay tuned for the one coming up.
To cap off the month after our 2 meetings in March, we're also just going to visit local churches, say hi, introduce them to our ministry, probably churches that we haven't been able to get in yet with a meeting. Hopefully be able to call the pastor and say, hey, can we just come attend a Sunday morning service with you guys? And hopefully even just pass out some prayer cards. So that's our March plans.
The 4th thing we kind of already told you is we've already packed up everything. Our pod is set to go. It will actually be leaving towards the end of March to go into storage until we are ready for it in June.
And as promised in our last update video, we are moving in June to
Florida! Sebring,
right.
Florida.
One of the main reasons we went down at the beginning of February was to look at some houses and check out maybe some viability of where we're at and how we can get down to Florida the fastest while also being able to finish our deputation in the most wise way possible.
We are excited for the opportunity that is coming up, and we have some good leads on housing and schools for the kids, and we're just trying to finish all of those little tweaks. Kind of jumping ahead, but we'll go back to it. The biggest thing that we need is to get to 60% of our support, and that will make our move way better. So if you'd be praying with us that we would reach 60% by May, that would be amazing.
That'll be huge, and definitely one of the main prayer requests that we have a little bit later on.
To go to our praises,
That's right.
we do have a new church supporter. Union Grove Baptist Church in Lexington, North Carolina took us on last week after their missions conference. So we are above 45%. However, we're not sure of the number yet, so we can't say what percentage we're at, but it's more than 45.
And it's more than just math not being my strong suit. It's more of, we're just figuring it out. So we are somewhere between 45 and 50%. And to go along with that, our second praise is that another church is scheduled to vote for us in early April. And so that will add even more. And so as we're praying, again, we'll spoil the prayer request for 60%. Know that God is already starting to build some momentum and getting us closer to 50%, so that gap to get to 60 is actually within reach.
Another praise that we have is, since Logan has accepted Christ, he's actually been asking some really good questions about baptism. Now, we're not sure if that's going to be sometime soon or sometime in the future, but he's been asking some really good questions, and so we've been able to have really good conversations about why we get baptized and what it means to be baptized. Mandy from the future here. We are sipping on some good old coffee. If you need to pick me up, you should buy some. We have a Instagram cracker and viral vanilla.
I always say I love a good transition. The biggest praise for our whole family right now is that we are living by faith more than we ever have. And that is such a scary but good place to be. When we're in missions, we need to live by faith. It's actually a Christian thing to do just that. And we are truly living by faith, not just on our support estimates and our finances, but with our housing decisions and our moving decisions and what school our kids are going to attend next year. All of these things are really, really intimidating, really, really scary. And yet Mandy and I, through this process, have really worked hard to give it to God. It has not been perfect, it has not been easy, but we are living by faith more than we ever have in our lives. And it's just a testament to God's grace in our lives and how much He has shown His faithfulness to us that we could trust Him in that.
And while we are living by faith, we covet your prayers, because it is definitely a constant battle with us about not living in fear and living in faith. Almost anyone who's been in this position would say that it was a constant battle to make sure that our hearts and our heads are in the right space, to make sure that we're not living off of our fear and we're living by faith. We know that we need to get to 60% to make sure that this move is viable and beneficial for both us and the team and BMM. So we're praying that we can get there, and we would covet your prayers, because prayer is the best way to help. And while we have moved and that part is done, we still have things that we are planning a garage sale, and we also have other moving pieces that we have to do. So we're not fully finished, but we are very close to being done. So if you could continue to pray that everything would go smoothly with, selling off the things or donating whatever stuff we have left, and then packing up the rest for Florida.
Finally, for our prayer requests, I don't know if you can tell, but this is not how I'm supposed to sound. And pollen is beginning its springtime appearance here in North Carolina. We're also just, our stamina's low. We've been on the road a lot here and there. We are living a very fast-paced life right now. And if you could just pray for our stamina, for both our health and our ministry's health, that would be a huge closing prayer request for us. Thank you all for joining us for this episode of Our Lives and our update. We'll keep you updated probably at the beginning of April for how the rest of March went. And by that time, we're going to be staring Florida right in the eyes. So please be in prayer. Please share this with anybody that you know that might be interested in our ministry. And we love you guys. Thanks so much.
Adios, flamingos.
Another church is scheduled to vote on us in early February.
I'm so tired.
April.
Yep.